Hello there. A bunch of pro-EU UK politicians have sent a letter to Brussels supporting a Brexit extension. Firstly, please subscribe and like this video to give my channel a boost, and I'm always uploading new content, so please do check back daily. So the pro-EU MPs have not stopped playing their games. The SNP leader at Westminster, Ian Blackford, together with the acting Liberal Democrat co-leader Sir Ed Davey, have sent a letter to the EU's chief Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier supporting a Brexit delay. The letter to Michel Barnier has also been signed by Liz Savile Roberts of Plaid, the Green MP Caroline Lucas, Stephen Farry of the Alliance Party and Colum Eastwood of the Social Democratic and Labour Party. In the letter, the MPs say that there is a significant opposition to Boris Johnson's refusal to consider extending the Brexit implementation period. They also said that both the Welsh and Scottish administrations are backing an extension to the negotiations, together with the majority of political parties in the Northern Ireland executive. They said they were contacting the EU Brexit negotiator in order to highlight the significant opposition to the UK government's extreme position amongst the business community, the general public and elected representatives. And because time is running out until we hit the hard Brexit deadline. They wrote in the letter, "A consensus is taking shape and we hope the UK government will soon recognise reality. It is now in all of our common interests to agree and secure an extension to the transition period. This will enable these detailed and defining negotiations to be conducted at a time when, we hope, the efforts of national governments and the European Union will not be engaged solely with dealing with the dreadful COVID-19 epidemic." And the letter also said that it is vital that the Tory government does the only responsible thing and accepts a 2-year extension to the transition period. Crashing out with a bad deal or no deal in the middle of the coronavirus crisis would deal a double hammer blow to the economy, just when we will need all the help we can get to save jobs, businesses and living standards. And also that it increasingly appears the Tory government is intent on taking Scotland and the UK down the path of a devastating no deal. That would be beyond reckless. The coronavirus economic crash is the worst in living memory. People and businesses are already struggling to get by. The Tory government must put its responsibilities to the economy ahead of its Brexit obsession. Polls consistently show that the overwhelming majority of people in Scotland and across the UK want to see an extension to the Brexit transition period, and there is growing consensus across political parties. It's time for the UK government to act. I've got to say that in regards to this, the lockdown has at least spared us all from the unedifying sight of a wretched little group of UK politicians jetting off to Brussels to beg at Barnier's feet. As far as I'm concerned, they do not represent the UK in any form whatsoever. In my opinion, they are more driven with stopping Brexit than anything else, even if it breaks the UK apart. In fact, many of them seem to have a distinct dislike for this country. Ian Blackford wants out, as does Liz Savile Roberts. Colum Eastwood is an Irish nationalist politician, and Caroline Lucas is the member of a party that has a deep political policy of objectives. NY 300. We will work to create a world of global interresponsibility in which the concept of a British national is irrelevant and outdated. And NY 400. We will progressively transfer all rights and responsibilities between individuals and government to depend on residence instead of nationality. And I bet most of you did not know that. because Caroline Lucas and the Greens never get challenged on it by a mainstream media that seems to favour those sorts of policies. Think about those two policies and the effect it would have when people who give a lifetime service to this country are treated as nothing. So the thought that these people would not do all in their power to derail the UK is laughable, and it's no surprise that they do what they do. And bear in mind that to sit, debate and vote in the Westminster Parliament, you have to take the oath of loyalty to the monarchy. And as far as I'm concerned, actively working to break the UK up, as well as actively working towards handing over control of the UK to a foreign power, does not sit well with that oath. Anyway, back to this odious call for a Brexit extension. A UK government spokesman said, "The government was elected on a manifesto which made clear the transition period would end on December the 31st, 2020. That is enshrined in primary legislation and it remains our policy. We will not ask to extend the transition period, and if the EU asks, we will say no. Extending the transition period would simply increase uncertainty and prolong the negotiations, whilst also leaving us bound by EU legislation and obliged to make further payments into the EU budget." And in a Telegraph article today, Tory Brexiteer MP Owen Paterson points to the reasons why the UK must end the Brexit implementation period on time on the 31st of December this year. In his piece, Paterson reminds the reader that for the last 5 years and in 5 national polls from the 2015 general election onwards, the Brexit vote has come out on top. For some reason he did, though, omit to mention the 2014 EU Parliament elections, where UKIP won the most seats in the UK, with 24 ahead of Labour's 20 and the Tories' 19 seats. That would make it 6 years and 6 polls. Even better. But hey-ho. Paterson then went on to say that the arguments being made for an extension to the implementation period are the same sort of tired old arguments used to extend the Article 50 process. And he says, "These are specious, recycled arguments. A zero tariff, zero quota UK-EU trade agreement is in the best interests of both sides. The history of Brexit so far has demonstrated that bringing compression to negotiations definitely brings about the best chance of achieving such a deal." And he points to a new report from the Centre for Brexit Policy called "Brexit Delayed is Brexit Denied: Why the UK Must Not Extend the Transition Period." Now, the Centre for Brexit Policy has 3 aims: to identify the benefits and opportunities of Brexit, to continue to make the intellectual evidence-based case for a real Brexit, and to check any attempts to dilute a real Brexit. And to summarise, the report says, extending the transition period and delaying Brexit for 2 years would cost £380 billion, or trillions of pounds if Brexit were lost forever as a result of extension. An extension of the transition period would prevent us from taking the radical steps needed to rebuild the post-COVID economy, because the UK would continue to be bound by EU rules and unable to influence them. The British public oppose extension of the transition period by 44% to 40%. Among Conservative voters, 61% want to leave on time at the end of this year or even earlier. And the report goes on to spell out the 2 main arguments being used by those engaged in a sustained campaign to bring pressure on the government to extend the transition period and delay or even deny Brexit. And it says that they are taking advantage of the invisible enemy to try and make 2 core arguments against leaving the implementation period on time. And those core arguments are: the pressures of responding to the COVID-19 crisis makes it impossible for an EU-UK trade agreement to be reached before the 31st of December this year, the date on which statutory legislation requires the UK to exit the transition period. And if no trade agreement has been concluded with the EU by December of this year, the UK economy, beset by COVID-19, cannot withstand the shock of such a change to our trading relationship with the EU. But it goes on to make the extremely strong case for exiting the implementation period on the 31st of December, so destroying those Remainer-type arguments, as leaving on time supports the economic recovery from COVID-19 by capitalising on past UK trading success with non-EU countries under World Trade Organisation rules, allows free trade agreements to be implemented that in turn support the recovery, enhances the UK negotiating position, making it more likely to reach a deal with the EU, and provides freedom from EU constraints, enabling better regulation that is necessary for revitalising the post-COVID-19 economy. The report also says that the only thing preventing the UK and EU reaching a good, mutually beneficial deal by the end of the year is the lack of EU political will to do so, and that without a good deal, then trading under WTO rules is the most attractive, cheapest and best prepared option, because unravelling the statute law default position is complex. Extension has many negative consequences. Extending the transition period could cost hundreds of billions of pounds, and there is no cliff edge. And the report finishes by saying that people also rejected claims that the 31st of December deadline and virus-induced interruptions in the talks were grounds for delay. By 42% to 24%, people agreed there is enough time to negotiate with the EU before the end of the transition period. And by 45% to 24%, almost 2 to 1, people agree that the government should be capable of managing both the COVID-19 pandemic and the transition period at the same time. The invisible enemy has, within a few short weeks, caused an upheaval in the geopolitics of the whole planet. The UK left the EU on the 31st of January, less than 4 months ago. Seems like an age, doesn't it? And look at what's happened in the interim. The political declaration was written in another geopolitical age, one that is now over, and sticking rigidly to it will not help the UK one iota in overcoming our future challenges. And sticking to that now outdated declaration will probably also damage the individual states of the EU 27 too, especially when the whole Eurozone and EU project looks headed at full pelt for the rocks. Right now, each individual country needs the maximum flexibility it can get to help it overcome the economic ravages to come. And it doesn't take me to tell you that Brussels bureaucracy will not save the day. Anyway, if you want to hear more from me, please don't forget to subscribe and also press that little bell, or you won't get any notifications. And if you want to see more of me, buy a mug with my mug on it. So what do you think about all of this? Please share and comment, and thank you for watching.